Okay, so MOvember 2019, day 27, but these are some catch-up videos. Earlier today, I did the Addictive System by Carnes, which you'll find in this resource and also in Facing the Shadow. It's a book by Stephanie Carnes, John Bailey, and Patrick Carnes. And Patrick has this book is a brilliant book for working with addiction, and it's a workbook, so that's why it looks so thick and overwhelming, but it is one of the best books I know to get someone started on their recovery. And this tool in it is called the Recovery System. Now, the Addictive System looks at the if you meet that criteria of addiction, that you then need to learn not only to not act out, but about the rituals and about the preoccupative fantasy and euphoric recalling thinking that we lead into through impaired thinking and the core beliefs that are negative, right? And it leads to all sorts of shame and guilt and despair and unmanageability. Well, he says that it's not just stopping that system. We need to create a paradigm shift in our life, a new way of living. So I want to take you through what he suggests. In regards to the recovery system, everything in the addictive system needs to be replaced. We need to form new beliefs. For a lot of us, we've come with old core beliefs, certainly core beliefs about the addiction, one's too many, thousands never enough. We will find that in recovery, some of us need to replace our beliefs completely. In this book, there's a great piece on provisional beliefs, that sometimes we need to subscribe to a set of values and ethics and beliefs outside of ourselves because we've got ourselves so lost. But what we do know now through neuroscience is just the impact on the brain and its ability through constructing things like new ways of thinking. Affirmations and gratitudes are a tool that universally is accepted, leads to a greater well-being. So we need to start to believe and foster self-compassion and self-loving beliefs about ourselves. In regards to addiction, we need to replace impaired thinking with empowered thinking. Now, some of the easiest things I know would be the AA slogans. And they are things that you'll see on the wall at AA that think, let go and let God, easy does it. These are the things that we can subscribe to when we're lost in a muddle in our own thinking, and especially around old addictive patterns that one won't hurt and will stop tomorrow, and we'll have all this crazy thinking about addiction. Well, recovery is about finding ways to put these new beliefs that were lovable and worthwhile into action. And so this empowered thinking is just things that help us put us down into this recovery zone, or what Carnes talks about instead of the addiction cycle, a renewal cycle. So coming up with new empowered thoughts that we also can subscribe to will put us into this zone. And Patrick Carnes talks about, people that are really functioning well, elite athletes, people that have got some mastery, generally find that when they're in that zone, they're traveling well. So when they're focused on that, what happens? And so instead of the old, in the addictive system where we get preoccupied and it triggers the euphoric beliefs, euphoric recall of addiction, we now need to find things that focus us in recovery. So he's written here that we focus on things that matter most with little attention given to things that are unimportant. So we reprioritize our life. Now, part of that focusing will mean there'll be new rituals, recovery rituals. And so we essentially replace those old using people with new people in recovery, support people. There'll be new places that we are attending now, 12-step meetings, maybe church, maybe a yoga studio, maybe a mindfulness studio. There'll be new things in our life now. Instead of bongs or drug paraphernalia or pornography, there might be a meditation book, a journal. Our smartphone now has apps for meditation like the Calm app. And we essentially create these new rituals that will inspire us down into this sort of zone-like behavior. And so when we get into the zone, it's where we focus on being at your very best and are committed to something bigger than yourself. So if we're atheist or agnostic, this can be really joining in community, moving from disconnection to connection. If you have a belief system that's existential or Christian, you might find that you're now linking into that power and really having a personal relationship with a power greater than you. Now, what we know that comes from that now are rewards, and rewards at every level of reality. Physically, we regenerate. Cognitively, we regenerate. Emotionally and behaviorally, we regenerate. And because we feel good and our brain wants more of feeling good, it will foster a repetition of this renewal cycle. Now, like with the addiction that we know that the American Medical Association has that definition of addiction around the brain's reward memory and motivational circuitry. What we do know is that the brain is malleable and plastic, so it repairs, and we can start to not just like addiction, where we would act out and the whole cycle that would be the hunt zone, that would then activate the brain in a negative way. What we know now is that the impact of meditation, imagination, creativity, zone-like behaviors, and the rewards largely are activating and regenerating new firing patterns in the brain and new networks in the brain. This will all lead to resilience. And in the 12 steps, the promises, now you'll have to bear with me guys, I'm dyslexic, they talk about the promises of the program. We know now that those promises we can MRI a repairing brain that shows that there's new activity in the brain from these new renewal cycles. And what happens when we are now finally, with more empowered thinking, living in this zone, the brain's regenerating, we're getting the rewards, this resilience is showing up in all areas of our life. It confirms these new beliefs that we are a loving and worthwhile person. It's not easy. I think getting recovered from addictions is like turning the Queen Mary on its axis, as Patrick Carnes says, in a harbour. It's tough, but when your back's up against the wall and you really need hope, then we need to be able to really constructively work towards something. So if this resonates with you, you'll find it in Facing Addiction by Patrick Carnes. It's also in his Recovery Starter Kit. I hope it's been useful. It's MOvember. Recovery works. Be gentle with your heart. And I will probably get a couple more videos squeezed in before the end of Movember. Donate if you can. Bye.